Welcome to Babel's Park, an autobiographical dystopia of a brainless cyber whore. You're listening to Chapter 10, The Whore of Babylon.
Apart from the fact that Olga had lied when she told David that I was already with Jack because I was still on my way, but in retrospect I am quite glad that I did not see him before. The short walk from the bionic lab to the beauty farm was through the outdoor area. There I watched the sun set behind the picturesque hills of Potsdam-Babelsberg for the last time, while dark clouds gathered over my head. An empty glass container was lifted right back into place by a truck, where it was again surrounded by empty bottles and cans. Instead of disposing of these as well, the garbage robot was proud of its clever placement before rattling away. I felt quite uncomfortable because otherwise, I would not have noticed such daily routines. The park was teeming with other distractions, for it was a mecca for tourists and self-promoting pilgrims and agitators. Sinti and Roma squatted in front of their trailers, offering a glimpse into your fate, but I decided to take it into my own hands. I winced when suddenly a fanatic on his wooden box yelled into his megaphone.
Come, I will show you the punishment of the great prostitute who sits by many waters. Flee from Babel. Run for your lives. Do not be destroyed because of her sins.
He waved wildly in the air. Some unbelievers stopped.
What have I done now? David replied. I was only asking a question.
How fitting, I thought. Only crazy people here. Undeterred, he continued.
But the cowardly, the unbelieving, the vile, the murderers, the sexually immoral, those who practice magic arts, the idolaters, and all liars, they will be consigned to the fiery lake of burning sulfur. This is the second death.
For the time being, there was only a downpour, and I ran to the nearest cafeteria. But there was a fire, provided by a dubious figure next to me at the bar who asked,
"Is it raining outside?"
"Where else?" I replied. He turned his attention back to his brochure. My park watch beeped. Jack grinned across the entire display.
"It's about time, sis.
Hi, how far is it from here?"
Just around the corner. Toward the tower, you'll see the pink neon sign.
How tasteful. In half an hour?
At the latest. And please abstain from alcohol from now on.
Just cappuccino.
Buono.
Ciao. I let him go and called the waiter. When David came out of the restroom, relieved but still a bit absent-minded, he was almost overrun by a horde of journalists rushing to the press conference. Out of curiosity and to get a little distracted, he followed them into a larger room where Bob on the podium was just starting to talk about digital analogies.
Dear journalists, I don't know if you already knew it, but you are witnessing a revolution that cannot be compared to anything you have been taught in history classes. I won't bore you with Copernicus, who made man part of a contingent system, while man, since Ptolemy, believed to occupy a central position in the universe, or with Rousseau, who delivered a blueprint of the feasibility and arbitrariness of human society and who believed that the common people should remain a bunch of illiterates in order not to destroy natural culture, or with Darwin, who finally classified humans as animals, albeit alpha wolves.
He took a sip of water.
And not with Freud, who put an end to the widespread belief that man is a self-controlling being because his unconscious makes an essential contribution, or with Crick and Watson, whose research deciphered the hitherto unfathomable, and thus considered protected genetic biological identity.
Bob paused.
But neither this astronomical, political, biological, psychological, or reproductive revolution is comparable to what we are currently experiencing because the future is incredibly close. We will soon be able to address every single cell in the human body and specifically alter its genetic program. This will make it possible to correct genetic defects, such as those that occur in hereditary diseases. Any questions?
Everyone raised their hands or stood up and spoke at the same time. David noticed that Bob was picking out the questions he wanted to understand, or answering the ones no one had asked. Left unanswered were questions about environmental cleanup, related to the alleged contamination of the site, and speculation that the park was a Potemkin village where preparations were being made behind its shiny facades for a new seizure of power, a digital realm where the sun never sets. Bob continued.
Thank you for asking that. In the past, it was the real thing that ended up in a museum. Today, everything is first in a virtual museum that has more supply than demand. But let's turn now to the entertainment aspect of this view, because that's what you came here for, after all.
You listened to the 10th chapter of Babel's Park. In the next chapter, Valley of the Silicone Dolls, Bob explains how a cybernetic organism like Babylon develops into the embodiment of the ideal partner. Listen to the ad-free version on Apple Podcasts now. To learn more about Babel's Park, visit Dr. Kala Sana's website fuckup.coach. And to let us know what you think of this series, we look forward to your review on your favorite podcast platform. Thank you.